And good morning, folks. My 40th cup of coffee. I've been handing out these brochures for my food bank and also the food pantry and stuff and tell people what we do. And people tend to run away from me. That's okay. This morning. Now, you should make out a list of a 1 month emergency supply food that you could repeat 7 months. You all should have a notebook. Okay? You put down food supplies and water supplies. All right? Fairly simple. You just fill out the book. Okay? On water, I always recommend that everybody should have 10 gallons of water. But a lot of people freak out on this, especially if you're in an apartment. Well, you get a water service. They'll bring you the jugs. You could get in 2.5, or you could get in 5 gallons. Not rocket science, folks. Stop filling up those little bottles of water. Okay? You could do it. It's not hard. And if you go on Amazon, you get this dispenser, simple ceramic dispenser that you put on a bar stool or a stand. Not rocket science, easy to do. And if you have a patio, you can make a little shed and you put it outside. So you got your 10 gallons of water. For 1 month, that's 30 gallons. Not rocket science, folks. If you're not in a wintry kind of condition, you could use a small garden shed. Not rocket science, folks. Fairly easy. Okay, 20 pounds of long grain rice. There's other rices, but decide what you want to keep. I always tell on brown rice, you have to be very, very careful. A lot of people get the organic brown rice with a hull. It only has 1 month of shelf storage life. And I hear people, oh, we'll just vial and vacuum and oxygen absorbers. And then they come back and, Uncle Al, I have 50 pounds of black mold. People don't listen to Uncle Al. Okay? Your best bet has been tested by the Mormons, FDA, Civil Defense, everybody. 20 pounds of long grain rice. Now you could substitute it with other rices. I did a whole video on rice, but I think YouTube took it down. Okay, next one is 20 pounds of beans. Okay, dried beans. You could later can it or you could buy canned, but you want 20 pounds of beans. I prefer dry because Uncle Al knows what he's doing with the beans. And they don't have an expiration date once dried. Okay, whatever assortment you like. You put it down, you pick out your assortment of beans. Keep them separately. Do not mix them together like practice. Practice prep or homestead. I just mix everything up like a 7-bean soup. Oh, I had bugs in it and a mouse motel. Yeah, because you're putting everything in one bag. Don't put your eggs in one basket, folks. Okay, now you got that, your primary thing. Doesn't cost that much, easy to do. You need special tools. You need a grinder, an opener, or the 5 or 2.5 gallon bucket. Not rocket science. And do not put these in the bucket. I had to take my one off the wall. I have it on the wall. Take it out, go over to my neighbors to find 2 of these in 300 buckets. That took me an afternoon. Okay? You want 5 or 2.5 gallon buckets. You want a mallet. And you want oxygen absorbers. Now for extra security, I do recommend Mylar or plastic bags. Getting old. I've been doing this for years. See? Not rocket science, folks. What do I have in here? Oh, I do have mashed potatoes. Well, that's good. Forgot I put it in there. I'm getting old. Now, put that in your notebook and you repeat it for 7 months. Not rocket science. On the water, that's a different, I have to do a separate video on that. That's totally different. But easy to do. Why a grinder? Because people get food fatigue. They get tired of eating the same stuff, or you have to do a different way to cook beans and rice. I make rice flour and bean flour. Okay? You want 20 cans of your kind of fruit. Okay? Pick it out, whatever you like. You get 20 cans in a sealed can. 20 cans of vegetables. 20 cans of your favorite meat. Okay? 20 cans of complete meals or soups. This is simple. You put it all down, you put it on a spreadsheet, and list. And then finally, you want 30-day supply of instant coffee or a drink mix. 30 days. You want 2 10-pound bags of flour. You want 2 1-pound container of plain salt. You want 2 10 pounds of sugar. Not rocket science, folks. You want 2 containers of quick oats. I already showed you that before. A gallon of olive oil. If you get in liter bottles, make sure it's dark or get it in the can. All right? 2 jars of peanut butter. Peanut butter you have to keep an eye on because it has a fat content of it. All right? People say, we have freeze-dried peanut butter. Yeah, but you don't have the fat content. So you're only getting a protein, and you might protein poison yourself. Like I said, Uncle Al's been doing this for the last, God, I don't know, since 1982. All right? So that's your basics. You could add stuff to it. You put it down in your spreadsheet. You figure out what you're going to eat for lunch, breakfast, and dinner. It's fairly simple. Put it on a list, and you work it out. Not rocket science. You put it in your notebook. And then repeat the simple list, which will be down below in the description box below. Not rocket science, not fancy. This is plain truth. Now, if you want to see other places and do other things, that's fine. If you want to do, I do warn people on freeze-dried foods. You have to watch out for the fat content. Will it go rancid? Are you making a bacteria bomb? Okay, food poisoning, listeria, all sorts of it, because people goof up on that. And I worked on a lot of freeze dryers, the early models. You have oil leakage. You have pressure problems. The seals isn't fixed. Your warranty didn't cover this. Okay, Uncle did it before, a lot of you guys. So freeze drying, you have to be careful. And why it tastes so bad? All right, you did not add certain things to it, like nitrogen. The other thing is, you have to know food chemistry. Okay, a lot of people don't do that. Uncle Alan did that as a hobby. Okay, I don't sell any freeze-dried products or anything like that. I know what I'm doing. All right, always test out the product you're going to buy and freeze-dry. If you're doing homemade stuff, 3 things you don't do. Shellfish like lobster, shrimp, crab, no. Other thing is milk and dairy products. But I freeze-dried milk and dairy products. Then we tested it and find out this is a toxic goo. And also, do you know you have over the legal amount of maggots in there? I didn't see any maggots. No, because they're freeze-dried and they're crumpled up. It's like, and then on the freeze-dried eggs. If you cook it and freeze-dry it, you might not have problems. But at the same time, it depends on what you cook it in. If you add fat to it, you have a big problem. Eggs have a lot of internal fats in it. So I tell a lot of people, do not freeze-dry those 3 things, including fat. Well, I freeze-dried butter. That's con. Okay? No such thing. You got butter flavoring, but it's not. You just can't add water and I'll make gasoline or I can make butter. It's a con. Stop doing it. All right? All you're doing is add weird water to a weird flavoring agent. Now, a lot of people argue me, but it's made from milk curds or it's made from all natural eggs. And I said, how much do you want to waste money on a dialysis machine? Vote no on that stupid proposition. Everybody in California knows what I'm talking about. Okay? Big thing is you have to watch out what you're doing with food storage. Uncle Alan tells the truth. I don't sell any products. I don't freeze dried buckets or any of that baloney. I have experience. So you have your freeze dryer. If it's vegetable, no fat, not a problem. You just got to know how to process it. Like blanching. A lot of channels are just, I'll just stick it into the freeze dryer. Yeehaw! No, some of the vegetables you have to blanch in salt water. You'll find out when you make your first dinner from that. And everybody's barfing through their nose. Okay? Another thing is, you have to be careful on your food storage. Do not put it in a high moisture area, high temperature area. It's supposed to, and out of sunlight. It's supposed to be dark and cool, between 60 and 70 degrees. Do not store it in a garage. Okay? It's like I look at people, if, like I said, you should have a separate pack of whatever meals you like in a suitcase that you could take on the run. Another thing is, if you're bugging in, understand this. Any second, any moment, your little hidey hole or safe house will be destroyed. Flood, fire, natural disaster, hurricane, you name it, or Uncle Al with the bazooka. I think I hit the right apartment. Okay? It could be disappeared. So when you make your preps, understand you should have caches. Uncle Alan has 6 caches, and I only told 2 to the general public. The other 4 I keep quiet about. Oh, and don't bury it in public land or state land. It's like this knucklehead buried his caches of arms and food out in National Forest area. And guess how many years he's going to prison? You have to think. You cannot do... I built a retreat. Yeah, on BLM land, Bureau of Land Management. And they got the bulldozers. I'm fighting that thing, and I won't see him for a long time because he's going to prison. Okay? Don't do anything stupid. I could go into the federal park and live out in the boonies. Yeah, it didn't work out too well for those 2 guys in Colorado. I think they're still in prison. Also, kidnapping and raping a biathlon athlete wasn't too good either. I've seen people do a lot of stupid stuff. And like I said, this simple list is right down below. You could add things to it. You could add freeze-dry, your favorite food, but add the foods that you're going to eat. This is why I made it generic. And if you're allergic to peanut butter, get some other nut butter. They have almond, pistachio, macadamia. They have hundreds of nut butters. Walnut. Don't really like the walnut, but they have different. Use your brains. And I'll be seeing you, folks. You have a nice day. And we'll hopefully, maybe the next video, we're going to cover over water. And remember, okay, a lot of people who bug in, you have to understand the conditions. And a lot of people ask me questions about it. And I ask them, how close to you are a military target? How close to you are a big city? How close are you to mass transit? There's hundreds of questions. And I told them, you have to pay me $25. I don't want to tell you everything you want to know, because a lot of you don't have the willpower, will have prepper fatigue, or just mouth open looking to the void. And I'll catch you later, folks. Remember, I'll be seeing you. Use your brains and be nice. And be humble. Bye now.